Antonia tossed a swimsuit into her bag, with a gleam of excitement in her eyes, while Alexandra carefully placed her sketchbook on top of her clothes. Their parents bustled around, smiling at the girl's palpable anticipation.
I'm going to ski every day this time, Dad.
We'll see about that, Antonia. Kuda's ready for some action.
And I'm going to find even prettier shells for my collection.
As the family headed to the airport, a playful animation showed their plane flying from London to Tobago, landing amidst lush green hills and turquoise waters. The sisters burst out of the house, racing to the shore with their fluffy Alsatian puppy, Maisy bounding behind them, her ears flopping. They plunged into the clear water, laughing as waves crashed around them.
Maisy, come swim with us.
Maisy paddled happily, chasing a floating stick. The camera captured the girls diving under waves and floating on their backs, the sun painting their faces with golden light.
Look, Alex, a starfish.
Later, they sprawled on the beach, building a towering sandcastle. Maisy dug a moat, sending sand flying, while Alexandra decorated the top with shells she had collected.
This is the best castle yet.
Until Maisy knocks it down.
Antonia and Alexandra were greeted by a cheerful local woman who handed them a ripe cacao pod to examine with wide eyes. These pods are treasures. Inside, you'll find the seeds that make chocolate.
Chocolate comes from this?
The woman sliced open the pod, revealing the white, pulpy seeds. Antonia and Alexandra tasted the sweet flesh, their faces lighting up with surprise.
It's so good! Can we pick our own?
They scampered off, each choosing a pod. Antonia picked a bright yellow one, Alexandra a deep red. They giggled as they lugged their prizes back, then watched as the woman explained how the seeds are dried and turned into cocoa.
I'm drawing this pod for my book.
You girls are becoming cacao experts. Antonia and Alexandra climbed aboard, Maisy wagging her tail as she sniffed the salty air. The boat cruised out to sea, cutting through the shimmering waves.
Keep an eye out, girl. There's magic in these waters.
Suddenly, a group of dolphins leaped beside the boat. Alexandra gasped, clapping as they arced through the air, while Antonia leaned over the edge, trying to touch them.
They're so fast.
Later, they dropped anchor in a quiet bay. Dad helped them cast fishing lines, and the girls sat patiently, watching the water.
I'm catching dinner tonight.
After a tug on the line, Dad reeled in a shiny fish, its scales flashing like silver. The girls cheered, and Maisy barked excitedly. As the sun began to set, they shared a snack on deck, the sky blazing with color. This is what summer's all about. Us, together. Antonia gripped the rope, her eyes set on the horizon. With a determined nod, she gave the signal to her dad, who was at the wheel of the boat.
Try again, kiddo. You're almost there.
A montage unfolded of Antonia's progress, first skiing upright, then cutting smoothly through the water, and finally soaring over small waves. Dad drove Antonia for hours, grinning as she mastered her moves.
Faster, Dad! I want to fly!
The camera caught her skimming the waves, spray fanning behind her. She attempted a spin, wobbling but landing it, and waved triumphantly to Alexandra on the boat.
You're the best, Tony.
One sunny afternoon, Antonia nailed a perfect jump, soaring briefly before splashing down with a whoop. Dad pulled her aboard, wrapping her in a proud hug.
That's my expert skier.
Mom watched proudly as Antonia skied with confidence, weaving through the water and landing a daring spin. Alexandra bounced with excitement. That was stunning, Antonia!
Can I try skiing tomorrow?
Sure, don't. But don't blame me when you fall.
At the picnic, they shared stories of the summer. The dolphins, the cacao, the fish they caught. The camera lingered on their happy faces, the bond between them glowing as bright as the sunset.
I'd drive that boat forever if it means seeing you girls to smile like this.
Antonia and Alexandra stood together, watching the waves as they lapped at the shore. Back in London, they flipped through a scrapbook, photos of skiing, Maisy, and sandy toes. They giggled over memories, already counting the days until next year.
Next time, I'm catching a bigger fish.
And I'm doing 2 spins.
The final shot showed Kuda sailing into the horizon, the family waving from the deck as the sun dipped low, casting a golden path across the sea. Tobago wasn't just a summer escape. It was where two sisters grew, laughed, and dreamed, and they knew they'd always return.